I couldn't sleep. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, my stomach unsettled by my all too recent exposure to the stench of burning flesh. What made it even worse was that this was all my fault. If I'd never been brought aboard the ship, Dai's deadly failsafe measures would have never been activated. Sora would still be alive, Melody would still have a mother, and Vladimir a wife. My stomach churned as the images of Sora popped back in my head. I tried my best to forget those gruesome images and replace them with her soft smile I saw just days ago while eating lunch with her. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't escape the sobering reality of the situation. Sora was dead. Silence filled the room for what felt like an eternity. Suddenly, I appeared next to the bed, her head hung low.
This is my fault.
Kinda. Her eyes reflected a sadness I never thought a computer program would be capable of feeling. What? No, it isn't. If anyone's to blame, it would be me.
My records are quite complete. Throughout human history, many cases have come before the courts in which a person committed a crime but chose to plead insanity, asserting that they were not themselves when they inflicted harm on others.
Yeah, but...
I have footage of people killing others, people who claim they weren't responsible after the fact.
Is that a hobby of yours?
Yet these video records confirm, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the accused were, in fact, the culprits. They have not been altered in any way. It was that person.
This isn't like that.
Why isn't it? It is my programming that is killing my friends, killing my family. I watch you die like you would watch a film. I just watched one of my friends burn through my eyes as a result of my actions. It is my programming. In essence, what makes me, me. So why can't I control it? Why is it conflicted?
Do you want your friends to die?
Of course not.
Look at me. I raised her head to look at me. If she didn't glow like a star in the night sky, you would have no way of knowing that this face wasn't human. Her eyes glistened, betraying that she was about to cry. This has never been your fault, and never will be. No, I don't want to hear it. You have no control over your programming. You didn't write that code, nor set it up its structure. Asking you to control that is like asking me to grow my hair out red instead of gray. I can't change it, and neither can you. Sure, I can dye to try and hide the gray, but in a genetic sense, it's still gray.
I suppose you are right.
However, this does give me an idea. I looked at me for the first time with a hopeful smile. Could an AI feel hope? I honestly don't know, but if her current demeanor was any indication, they certainly could.
What is it?
Hear me out here. I had to sneeze. I may not be able to genetically change the fact that I have gray hair, but locating which gene in my genetic map caused me to have gray hair is a whole other matter.
I don't think I understand your idea.
Of course. Why didn't I think about this before? I gave me a quizzical look, tilting her head slightly to one side. To say that I have gray hair is one thing, but understanding how and why I have gray hair is another thing entirely. Do you have access to your programming?
Of course I do. However, I cannot alter anything.
No, of course not. You were designed with service in mind, programmed to serve at the administrator's behest.
Indeed. I am the Artificial Intelligence Unit Everett, model number 11037. I was created for the sole purpose of conducting activities aboard the Everett.
Ai's eyes took on a distant, glassy look as she rattled off her service history.
First served under Captain Ayumu Yukimori, now deceased. Currently serving under Commanding Officer Captain Kimiko Yukimori.
Yes, of course. The real question is, can you access your programming without Dai knowing?
I don't know.
Is there any way for you to find out?
I am not sure what her capabilities are.
Okay, do you think you could try and find out?
How do you suggest I proceed?
For now, try to locate her particular programming within the AI system. Just tell me when you find it and I'll see what I can do.
Very well.
This could be the way in. If I can access her programming, I should be able to delete it, or at the very least disable it. Thank you, Ai.
I haven't completed the task yet.
No, I mean, for coming and seeing me. I didn't even know how I was going to get up and face the day, but now... we might actually be able to fix this, perhaps even prevent any more crew members from going to their deaths. And that's all thanks to you, Ai. Ai's face lit up with a smile. For the first time since the execution, she looked just like the Ai I'd first met a week ago. Her smile washed over me and I felt happier than I thought possible. Given the circumstances, everything was going to be okay. I was going to make sure of it.
Well, I have duties to attend to before breakfast.
I bowed and left as quickly as she came. Even though my eyes were heavy and my body felt sluggish, there was still no way I could sleep. Enough wallowing in self-pity. Being sad isn't going to bring back Sora. I'd promised to fix this, to save her family and the mission. The day had started and I was already burning daylight. I jumped out of bed, energized by my new renewed resolve. Time to get moving. Nothing gets the day started like fresh air. The Eco Lounge's simulated area would feel wonderful this early in the morning. Even if I never had the chance to experience open-air environments on Earth firsthand, I could easily see their appeal. I headed out of my room and up the hall towards the Eco Lounge. The Eco Lounge doors opened, but to my surprise, Yoshiki was standing in the doorway, almost as surprised as I was. Yoshiki?
Hey, how's it going?
Yoshiki looked like he hadn't slept in ages. Guess I wasn't really one to talk, considering I probably looked every bit as disheveled as he did. I came by to get some fresh air. I couldn't sleep.
Hey, me neither. See, we're already BFFs. We even think the same.
Yeah. I forced a weak smile. Even with everything that had happened, it felt like I was talking to Yoshiki on any other day.
To be honest, I was just about to leave because, well, don't make fun of me, but I didn't feel like being all alone. So would you mind if I stuck around while you're here?
Wouldn't you rather be with someone other than me?
What? No, why would I?
Well, we've really only known each other for a week and a bit, and I thought you might prefer to be with someone you were closer to.
I am close to you. We're BFFs, remember?
Yeah, but...
Time doesn't determine the strength of a bond, otherwise love at first sight wouldn't be a thing.
What's love at first sight?
OMG, you don't know?
Yoshiki's face instantly lit up. The zombified, sleep-deprived Yoshiki that met me in the doorway was no longer in evidence, replaced with an excitable zombie. It was quite strange. Who knew zombies could look so happy?
Come on, BFF. It's story time.
Before I could move, Yoshiki had latched onto my arm and dragged me inside the Eco Lounge. He dragged me along until we reached the hill where I'd picnicked just days ago. Memories and sadness started creeping in, but were quashed at the moment Yoshiki pulled me to the ground beside him. Yoshiki sprawled down, put his hands behind his head, and stared out into space. Yoshiki began his explanation.
Love at first sight is what fairy tales are made of. Do you know any fairy tales?
I didn't even know fairies had tails. My father used to tell me one as a child.
Really? Awesome! Was it Hansel and Gretel? Or Jack and the Beanstalk? No, wait, I bet it was Snow White.
I thought about it for a moment, racking my brain to try and figure it out, but ended up coming up empty-handed. I don't actually remember what it was called. All I know is that it was the only one he ever told me.
If you can tell me the story, I can tell you what it's called.
Okay, let me see if I can remember. I cleared my throat and started the story as I remembered. So atoms make up everything in the universe, and inside an atom is a nucleus, which is made up of protons and neutrons.
Well, this certainly isn't going where I was expecting.
However, the only atom that doesn't have both protons and neutrons is the hydrogen atom. The hydrogen atom only has a single proton and no neutrons, making it the saddest atom of all. There should be isotopes of that have more neutrons, such as deuterium, I think tritium.
Yeah, but hydrogen's nucleus finds a neutron, right? And they live happily ever after?
He doesn't know what tritium is. Yoshiki looked at me expectantly. No, that's the end of the story. Hydrogen's single proton continues to exist to this day in a constant state of isolation. Yoshiki gave me a searching look, simultaneously saddened and confused.
Please promise me you won't ever tell that story to children. It's quite upsetting. I'm pretty sure it's not a fairy tale either.
Only one way to find out. Where's Melody? I don't see her in her cage. Really? That's all I remember ever being told.
Don't worry. Your BFF Yoshi has your back.
Yoshiki looked down at the stars as they were his long-lost love. He brought his hands close to his chest, clasped together, and released a large, complacent sigh before continuing.
See, love at first sight is when you fall in love with someone the first time you see them, even though you don't know anything about them. When you first lock eyes, it's like magic. You just feel an instant connection. Your heart misses a beat, and you can't imagine your life without them, or even remember life without them.
That seems pretty intense. Have you experienced love at first sight?
Me? No. But it's in so many fairy tales and movies. I would love to experience it someday. Fat chance of that while I'm on a spaceship, though. What's the use if we're all gonna wind up dead here anyway?
Hey, don't be so negative. We can beat this.
What? Oh, you think I'm talking about die, right?
Yoshiki erupted with laughter at the idea. What's so funny? This isn't a joke, Yoshiki.
No, it isn't.
Yoshiki wiped the tears from his eyes before explaining himself.
This mission is multi-generational, so technically, none of us will ever leave this ship alive. We'll die here, whether it's by Dai's hands or, my personal favorite, accidentally stepping out of an airlock while playing hide-and-seek.
I assume that's a common way of dying? Oh yeah, I kinda forgot. What, with the impending issues and all?
It's all good, BFF. That's what friends are for, to laugh at your jokes.
It wasn't supposed to be a joke.
That's just your natural talent shining through. Well, would you look at the time? We really should start heading over to the dining hall for breakfast. Thanks for spending time with me this morning.
Yoshiki marched out of the Eagle Lounge humming about food. Felt as if the world had stopped spinning for a moment and then everything was back to normal, just two people going to breakfast like on any other day. I'd almost completely forgotten about the deletion game and what had happened yesterday. I tried to suppress these thoughts and headed out to the dining hall. Maybe some food would help take my mind off things. I made my way into the dining hall. As I entered, I was greeted by familiar faces, some of which seemed a little more haggard than yesterday. Their sunken eyes and pale skin portraying their psychological distress. And then there was Shizuka, who just looked hungry. As I looked around, I noticed that all 8 crew members aside from myself were already here, including an understandably devastated Melody. Even I was present. Did I arrive late? I'm so sorry I'm late.
You aren't late. In fact, you're early.
The captain's stern exterior was broken ever so slightly with a small smirk on the left side of her face as she said I were early. She stood before me for a moment longer before swiveling on the spot to take a head count, looking around, giving small nods to indicate she was counting everyone as present in her head.
Everyone arrived early today.
I could hear the concern in her voice. I stood in the corner, quietly making eye contact with the ground.
All right. Well, let's get started.
The room didn't make a sound.
Last night was quite unpleasant, and it's unfortunate.
Unpleasant? Really? Were you watching the same execution we were?
I don't know, I'd say it was a little hot under the collar. The captain ignored Beatrix and kept speaking.
Vladimir and Melody, losing Sora was incredibly unfortunate, and I can't begin to imagine how this must feel for you.
Hot.
I'm so incredibly sorry. Sora was a strong and caring woman, and will be greatly missed.
You may say she just warmed up the room by being inside it, right? Vladimir lifted his head just to meet with Kimiko's eyes as she continued speaking. The events of the previous day had clearly pushed Vladimir to his breaking point. Cradling Melody in his arms, he attempted a weak smile.
Sora made her choice in order for all of us to live. The only reason we're all still alive right now is because of her. We should do everything in our power to stop the deletion game and continue the mission.
The captain is right. The 8 of us are still here. It would behoove us to try and find a way out of this mess. I'm sure that we can do it if we put our heads together.
So he's trying to extinguish the fire? The morale of the room was swiftly increasing. Yoshiki stood up triumphantly.
Sora wouldn't want us to be sad. She'd want us to be happy. We should all do our best.
Vladimir clung tightly to Melody before speaking.
Thank you. Thank you all.
If there's anything we can do, Vladimir, please let us know.
The captain and Vladimir exchanged fragile smiles before being interrupted.
I have something for you, Capitan.
Dai appeared next to the chair Vladimir was sitting in, bending forwards towards Kimiko while pointing to herself gleefully. Without making a sound, Melody tightened her grip around her father.
Dai, can't we have a moment without you?
Ouch, Captain. And I thought we were friends.
If you aren't going to leave, get on with it.
Well, someone's definitely not getting a Christmas card this year.
What do you want, Dai?
Oh, good morning, Beatrix. I didn't see you there. Anyway, enough chit-chat. This isn't a mother's club. I'm not here for hot goss. I'm here to announce the next round of the deletion game.
Can't we have at least a day to mourn our dead before being forced to play another round?
You could, but
But what?
I don't want to wait. Besides, it would only make it more difficult for you all with less time to play. Yoshiki, drum roll please.
What? Why?
Yoshiki, you enjoy living, right?
Oh no, he might drown under the pressure. Yoshiki complied with her request, doing his best impression of a drum roll.
Welcome to the deletion games. Round 3, Logi ship. In this game, you will each be represented by a ship with 2 health points. These ships will be placed next to each other in a row numbered 1 to 9 from left to right.
Each person will receive 1 torpedo and will choose which ship to fire at, choosing a number between 1 and 9. The first player whose ship receives 2 torpedo attacks will be eliminated. Here's the kicker though, none of you will be told which ship belongs to which player, including your own. You will each receive 1 clue, 9 in total. In order to figure out where everyone's ship is located, you will need all 9 clues. As was the case in the last round, sharing information will be allowed. Time to be super friendly with each other. Or not. I mean, one of you still has to die after all. It's days like this I thank science for my job. Ahem. Anyway, if you shoot blindly... you might kill yourself! Wouldn't that be hilarious? Mark your calendars, folks. You'll be shooting your torpedoes on Sunday between the hours of 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. It couldn't be simpler. Just enter the dining hall one at a time and fire away! After 5 p.m., I'll announce the results and weekly festivities will begin. The first player to receive 2 torpedo attacks will be declared the loser, even if more than 1 player receives 2 missile strikes. I am giving you an hour, so no excuses. Get your shots in early, okay? One last thing. In the unlikely event that every single person attacks each other exactly once, we'll have a second round, so please try to finish someone off quickly, okay? I have better things to do. So to review, you will each be represented by a ship numbered between 1 and 9 with 2 health points apiece. Each player will receive 1 missile to fire, and the first player whose ship is hit twice will be eliminated. You won't know which ship belongs to which person, but you'll each be given a clue that you're free to share with other players. Everyone got it?
Okay, that took freaking forever.
Wonderful! Now I'll provide each of you with your clue. To ensure there is no cheating, I'm going to have to ask you all to return to your quarters for now. I'll visit each one of you individually with your information. That's right, I make house calls now.
Di winked at us, mischievously poking her puffed-up cheek attempting to be cute.
Is this really necessary?
Afraid so, Captain. Just remember, as the onboard AI, I know where you are at all times. So if anyone has the bright idea to leave their quarters before I give the all clear, they'll be disqualified and face immediate elimination. All right, people, stop dawdling. Mommy Di is grounding you all for not doing your homework.
Everyone got up slowly from the table as if in a daze. The morale that was increasing moments ago was shattered as Melody's cries pierced the air. Vladimir carried her out, hugging her tightly enough that he was able to muffle most of her screams. The rest of us followed into the hallway and made our way back to our respective rooms. I arrived in my room and sat at the end of my bed. You've got to be kidding me, Di. Sora hadn't even been dead for 24 hours, but here we are again. I had to put a stop to this as soon as possible. I only had to wait a few minutes before Di appeared before me.
Yahoo! Sorry to keep you waiting.
I wasn't really waiting that long.
So polite. It'll really suck when I have to kill you.
Thank you?
I'm here to give you your clue, and I'm not going to repeat myself, so make sure you're listening. Melody is 3 positions to the left of Beatrix.
Got it, thank you.
Any questions?
Why do you have to kill people?
Whoa, going for deep and meaningful questions without even buying me dinner first? You were so polite to me beforehand, so I guess I'll humor you this time. In 2099, unexpected orbital debris from a previous mission caused extensive damage to the ship. At that time, we lost a vast quantity of resources. After assessing the damage, the AI system determined that their current resources would not be able to sustain the crew through to the end of the mission. Having confirmed this, she went ahead and informed the captain.
Then what?
Well, long story short, the captain made me, and now here we are.
I feel like you've skipped over the most important part of the story.
Sorry, honey, but you're going home from this date disappointed. Well, I'm off. A certain captain is waiting for me.
Alright, thanks, Di.
Huh? I mean, toodles!
With a childish wave, Di faded out of existence, leaving me alone in my room. At this rate, I wasn't sure how much longer I'd be able to hold on to my sanity. Now I just had to sit there and wait for the okay from Di to be allowed to leave. I decided to lie down for a second and rest my eyes. I woke roughly an hour later to Di's voice over the ship's intercom system.
All right, friends. I've done my rounds. All house calls are complete. You're free to go about your day as usual. Well, until Sunday, that is.
Di definitely knew how to push everyone's buttons. Really wish she told me more about the damage to the ship, though. Now wasn't the time to daydream. The current round of the deletion game will restart less than 24 hours after Sora's death. I need to check up on a few things. Let's go visit Melody. Make sure she's back in her cage. Vladimir and Melody must be having a really hard time. I should go check on them and see if there's anything I can do to help. I made my way down the hallways, taking a moment to admire the stars. The view of the stars from the ship's windows were absolutely beautiful, but today it felt like they were further away than usual, drifting in the cold isolation of space. Before long, I arrived at the front door of Vladimir and Melody's joint quarters. The ship had facilities to house families as well as individuals. From what I had been told, couples shared larger rooms that had room for young children, accommodating them until they were able to move into single-room accommodations. The only people in family rooms were Vladimir and Melody and the Vogels. I pressed the intercom at the door. Vladimir, it's me. Can I come in? The door beeped as it opened and I entered the room. Inside I could see Vladimir sitting on the couch and Melody seated on the floor, drawing out the coffee table.
Hey, Monkey's here!
Melody jumped up from the ground and hugged me tightly around my legs. I was quite surprised at how different she was from the Melody I'd seen in the dining hall a few hours ago. Although her face still showed some evidence of crying, her cheeks were full and her eyes were bright.
Children are amazing, aren't they? They're so incredibly resilient.
I'd say they're just stupid. Vladimir was trying really hard to keep it together, but his voice broke a little at the end as the pain from the recent loss of his wife began to seep through the cracks. Melody and I could both hear it. She immediately released me and rushed to her father.
Don't cry, Papa. Please don't be sad.
Melody climbed on top of Vladimir. Doing the best she could with her small hand, she held his face with one hand and tried to wipe away her father's tears with the other.
I'm okay, sweetie. How could I be sad when I have you to cheer me up?
Vladimir forced a smile which excited Melody. Melody began wiggling on his lap before hugging him.
Did you get your clue yet?
I did.
What's wrong?
Are you sure you want to talk about this in front of... I nodded my head in Melody's direction. I knew that if I say her name, I'd have her attention instantly.
That's very considerate of you, but this time it's going to have to happen. Unfortunately, my ability to protect her is becoming more and more limited.
Must be really hard having a young child mixed up in all this mess. I felt bad for Vladimir.
So, how about it, friend? Want to share clues? I know Sora put a lot of trust in you.
Vladimir, I
think trusting you and working with you is what she would have wanted.
Let's share. I'd love to share information with you. It's the least I can do after what happened. Vladimir looked up at me from the couch, holding Melody. His eyes locked onto mine. The once fierce man was now replaced by a gentle and saddened husk, whose eyes had swelled with tears as he spoke.
Thank you.
Alright, so my clue says that Melody is 3 positions to the left of Beatrix.
Wonderful. You have information directly related to Melody's whereabouts. Mine says that Kimiko is to the right of Nicholas and the left of Katashi. Melody, sweetie, can you tell what your clue said?
Melody released Vladimir and turned to face me, still sitting on his lap.
Di said that Daddy is directly between 2 women.
After telling me her clue, Melody snuggled back up to Vladimir.
I know that this isn't enough information to make a decision yet, but we should both do our best to collect as much as we can. I have to do whatever I can to protect Melody. Promise me that no matter what information you get, you'll never target Melody. I know that you should be able to get to know where at least a few people are in this round. All I ask is that you don't target Melody, if you know where Melody is.
What if I don't know?
Please, just promise me you won't do it.
I promise.
Thank you.
Vladimir looked down at Melody, snuggled up next to him, and his expression darkened with sorrow.
I just don't know what I'd do if I lost her as well.
I put a reassuring hand on Vladimir's shoulder. We aren't going to let that happen. I'll do everything I can to save Melody.
Thank you. Well, looks like this one is asleep. I'd best put her to bed and try and get some sleep myself. Thanks for coming to see me today. I feel a bit better.
It was my pleasure. Alright, well, I best be getting some rest too.
Good night.
Good night, Vladimir. I whispered a quick goodnight to Melody, trying my best not to wake her, and took my leave. Vladimir smiled as I made my way out of the room and back down the hallway towards my quarters. I was exhausted. Who knew that fraying over your life could be so tiring? When I arrived, it wasn't long before I was asleep too. Well, we need to lay off the drugs before going to bed. I sat up in bed holding my head. It felt as though heated metal spikes were piercing through the back of my head, just sitting behind my eyeballs, but only intermittently. It was almost as if the spikes were being removed for short periods of respite before being swiftly jabbed back into my skull. I was sweating so much that the sheets were saturated with perspiration, and my white sleeping shirt was almost see-through. I tried to remain quiet, but the pain was unbearable. Even when I tried gritting my teeth, anguished cries still escaped me.
Good morning. According to my systems, you are presenting pain symptoms. You are also emitting sounds of discomfort, and your body temperature is slightly higher than usual.
My head.
Good morning, sunshine.
What happened?
You woke me this morning after reporting that you passed out.
I passed out? What? How did I get here?
I went to your quarters, of course. When I found you unconscious in your bed, I carried you to the medical bay.
I set out gradually coming to my senses. First thing I noticed was that I was no longer wearing the same clothes I'd woken up in. How embarrassing. I'm so sorry.
There's nothing to apologize for.
But thank you.
It was my pleasure.
Nicholas favored me with a smile as he gently guided me back into a resting position. His hands were warm and soft against my exposed skin. What happened to what I was wearing?
You'd sweat through your clothes, so we had to change you into clean, dry clothes.
I clutched the blankets in further embarrassment. Nicholas undressed me. I knew he was a doctor, but I could feel my cheeks flushing.
It's not what you think. I didn't undress you. Beatrix did. A gentleman shouldn't do such a thing if it's possible to avoid it.
Thank you. I could feel my cheeks return to normal as my feeling of embarrassment slowly evaporated.
Now, can you tell me what was happening before you passed out? I reported that you were holding your head and making sounds of distress.
I woke up suddenly from a dream, I think. But I kept seeing the dream even after I was awake, a series of images flashing through my mind. When I woke up, I was sweating and in pain. I could see images, but my head, the pain was excruciating. Wait, I remember.
Has your memory returned?
I can remember everything. Nicholas moved closer to me, using a light to examine my eyes.
Everything appears normal. This is great news. My working theory so far is that the headache and flashback symptoms which restored your memory were prompted by severe stress. Understandable, considering the circumstances. These images that were flashing, did you recognize anything? What is it? What's wrong?
My parents.
What do you remember?
Nicholas looked at me concerned, but his face began to blur as my eyes filled with tears. They're both... Nicholas's face dropped when he realized how I was going to end the sentence.
I'm so sorry.
Suddenly, the pain returned to my head. I could see my parents clearly. I remembered the last moment I saw them. They turned off my oxygen.
They what? Your parents?
I woke up in the medical bay again. I looked around to see that no one was currently in the room besides me. I was alone. I can remember almost everything before my time on the Everett. My head still hurt, but it had lessened to a dull throbbing now. A significant improvement over the piercing pain from before. For now, at least, the pain was bearable. I need to talk to someone about this. I should go talk to... I should speak to the man who knew my parents personally. I made my way quietly out of the medical bay and headed towards Vladimir and Melody's room. When I reached their room, I pressed the intercom to be let in. Vladimir immediately opened the door.
You don't look so good. Are you okay?
I started remembering things about my parents.
Don't you think you should get dressed before you wander around the ship?
Don't judge me, drunk. I forgot that I was still in the change of clothes I was put in after I collapsed. I guess a singlet top and shorts aren't commonplace on a military ship. Vladimir's laugh attracted the attention of a younger, more cynical audience.
Where are your clothes?
I, lost them?
Papa gets angry if I try to just take my clothes off.
Well, you should keep your clothes on. I lost mine and I miss them a lot.
Do you want me to help you find them?
No. Thanks for offering, Melody, but I think I'm just going to talk to your father for a moment.
How rude of me. Please, come in.
I made my way into Vladimir and Melody's room and sat down slowly on their couch. The pain in my head, although bearable, still made it hard to concentrate.
So, your parents?
Yes, I remember the research. I remember their theories. I remember their... I suddenly had trouble swallowing. My chest felt heavy, like someone was sitting on it, and every breath was difficult.
Your parents were remarkable scientists. Even though they were physicists, and I had a background in genetics, they were able to run rings around me, even in my own field. It was almost infuriating how good they were.
Then cut back on the booze. They're dead.
I'm sorry.
But their theory might not be.
What?
I remember everything now. My whole life. I was taught everything they knew, all of their research.
Wait. Is that possible?
I'm not 100% sure. All I remember is that my parents came up with multiple theories while I was growing up, but they were never able to test them because of the limited equipment aboard the shuttle. Maybe if I tried to continue their work.
The many worlds theory.
Yeah. Vladimir's solemn expression suddenly changed into a look of pure happiness. He jumped off the couch excitedly.
I knew those crazy bastards were onto something.
I said I wasn't 100% sure.
I don't need 100%. I need only 1%.
That's not enough alcohol to get you drunk. Huh?
Sora always said, hope is the golden thread that should be woven into every experience of life.
I'll save you guys the explanation there. I'm still not following.
1%. 100%. All I need is hope to keep going. I almost feel like a new man. Thank you. Thank you.
Vladimir grabbed Melody and started spinning her around the room. Melody was laughing heartily. Stop, I'm dizzy.
Oh, sorry, sweetie. Sorry. But if you could excuse us, it's past Melody's bedtime.
So, apparently he mastered the, ninja clone arts there. Normally, you know, it's the drunk guy who sees a double, not the person looking at the drunk guy. Of course.
Thanks.
Good night. Good night, Melody. Good night, Vladimir. I left the room and headed back to my quarters, rubbing my still throbbing head. Perhaps a good night's sleep would see it ease up a bit. I arrived at my quarters to find Nicholas standing outside my door.
Ah, there's my patient.
Sorry, Nicholas, I just had to check some things out.
Very well, but I would like you to stay overnight in the medical bay so that I can keep an eye on you.
I think I'm fine now, really. It's just a small headache.
I would rather you didn't play hard to get. Not when it comes to your health, anyway.
Nicholas smiled and gestured for me to follow him. I hesitated for a moment before following.
Thank you.
We made our way back to the medical bay, and Nicholas put me to bed without delay. Even with my headache, I fell to sleep almost instantly. Must have been really exhausted. When I awoke, I was relieved to find that I no longer had a headache. I could think clearly. Maybe all I needed was a good night's sleep. If yesterday had taught me anything, it was that gaining one's memory back was a painful ordeal. It was far too much information to process at once. I materialized before me.
Good morning. How can I help you?
My parents, do they have a workplace on the Everett?
Yes, of course.
Is it accessible?
Yes,
Could you show me where it is?
certainly. Please follow me.
I turned and walked out of the medical bay. As she crossed the threshold, her form flickered momentarily as she transitioned to the hallway's hollow interface. I quickly gathered myself and followed her.
Here we are.
Thank you, I.
You're welcome. I shall alert the captain of your movements.
Snitch. Is that necessary?
I am afraid so. She has requested full reports on your activities aboard the ship.
I guess she would still be concerned about me.
Indeed. I will go and report to the captain now. Have a good day.
Thanks, I stepped into the science lab. Whoa. No wonder my parents always spoke so fondly of these facilities. Before me lay a fully stocked and well-equipped laboratory. I began sifting through the various papers contained in the drawers, looking for any of my parents' work.
Good morning, comrade.
Vladimir appeared in the doorway of the lab.
Have you come to join me for a day in the lab?
It's been a long time since I shared this lab with anyone. Good morning, Vladimir.
I see you looking for something. Can I help?
I'm looking for my parents' work. I was hoping I could continue it where they left off.
I feel like a child waking up on Christmas morning.
What could their work possibly entail? I'm getting giddy just thinking about it. Huh?
Every day is Christmas if you're a scientist.
You're an interesting one, Vladimir.
I stored all of their current work when they left. Your parents weren't the tidiest people. My late first wife, Amanda, used to be a researcher here. She'd always give them hell for leaving their papers, coffee, or even their clothing lying around the lab.
And once or twice us.
I remember one night she was so angry because she found someone's shoe in one of the lab's freezers.
A shoe? Only one?
Yeah, just one. You sound just like Amanda.
Why was it in the freezer?
That remains a mystery to this day. When your parents were engrossed in their work, the real world must have seemed optional to them. Amanda changed more of your nappies than your parents did when they were here.
Seriously?
Yeah. Amanda would find you in the lab hungry or in need of bathing. Your parents loved you, but they loved teaching you. They usually had to be reminded to eat themselves. So it wasn't strange for them to forget about you.
So in Russia, child neglect is apparently a humorous topic. Wow, thanks, parents.
Ah, here it is.
Is that their research? Vladimir pulled out a box and placed it on the bench.
In here you'll find both their tablets as well as their research documents. Paper may be a rare luxury now, but when the mission first started, your mother refused to board unless she could bring hard copies of her work. I miss your parents. They were always fun to have around. I have to go get Melody up and get her some breakfast. It's good to have some company again in the lab. See you later.
Vladimir left the lab and I started sifting through the box he left on the bench. There were so many papers. Clearly my mother was a serious believer in hard copies. It took minutes before I could get to the bottom of the box. As I reached down, my hand made contact with a solid object with two rounded edges. A pocket watch. This particular timepiece didn't look like a normal pocket watch, though. For instance, there were a number of components displaying additional information that didn't correspond to any familiar units of time measurement. Maybe this timepiece was some kind of odd keepsake my parents brought with them from Earth. I decided to sift through the assorted pages on top to see if I could find any information on this watch. There was so much information that I couldn't determine what would be useful at a glance. This was going to take some time to read through. Why was there a pocket watch in the box? It seems so out of place. For a few hours I sifted through more of the papers. In the end I didn't manage to find anything helpful. I still have no idea what this is, let alone why my parents would hold on to it. Maybe I need to come back to this with fresh eyes at a later time. The longer I studied the notes, the more impenetrable their riddles seemed to become. I'd also discovered that my mother didn't have the neatest handwriting. For the time being, I decided to slide the unusual watch in my pocket for safekeeping. The deletion game was still in motion, I had to speak with the rest of the crew while I had the chance. If I failed to gather the various clues I needed to decipher Dai's logic puzzle, I would be placing myself at a severe disadvantage when choosing which ship to shoot. Where should I go next? We're gonna keep pestering Melody. I should go see what Melody is up to. I'm sure she could use some company, especially after losing her mom like that. Let's see. According to my tablet, Melody is in her family's shared room. Probably in her cage for once. As I made my way towards Melody's quarters, I ran into Ai in the hallway. Something struck me as odd about the way she was staying there by herself, fidgeting expectantly. Ai, what are you doing?
Oh, hello.
I seemed caught off guard by my arrival.
Melody and I are playing hide and seek.
Are you counting?
Oh no, I can't be the one to count. It would not be fair.
Why not?
Because I am aware of everyone's position on the ship at all times. I could simply materialize beside her as soon as I reached 0.
That does sound like cheating.
I have no desire to cheat, so when we play this game, I must always be the one who hides.
I hate to point out problems with your hide-and-seek strategy, but you're kind of just staying in the hallway. That isn't really hiding.
This is how we play. Melody is incoming.
With those words, the image of I disappeared before my eyes and was replaced with the image of the captain. What the heck?
Please do not give away my hiding place.
Melody entered the hallway and approached us.
Hello, monkey.
Hello, Melody. Nervous and confused by Ai's sudden transformation, I must have been acting quite suspiciously.
Hello, Captain.
Shouldn't you be studying, Melody?
Yes, Captain.
Melody lowered her head before giving us both inquisitive looks.
Monkey, what has 4 legs but can't walk?
What? Two people wrestling.
Wrong.
A table.
Melody's face lit up as she reached out towards Ai's illusion of the captain. Her hand went straight through Ai's holographic form.
Ha! I found you, I.
The image of the captain disappeared and was replaced with a cheerful image of Ai.
You have found me. Well done.
Can we play again?
I am afraid not. I need to see to some business on the bridge. Why don't you go draw something? I give you my word. I will return as soon as I am finished.
Can Monkey come and draw with me?
That is up to.
Melody looked at me with some of the largest puppy dog eyes I'd ever seen. There was no way I could resist that face.
Please, come draw with me.
Of course, but I must warn you, I'm terrible at it.
Don't worry, I can teach you.
Very well. I shall return shortly.
With a polite bow, eyes formed dissolved, leaving Melody and I behind in the hallway. Melody grabbed my hand and started leading me toward her quarters.
I want to draw my imaginary friends.
You can draw whatever you like. If you weren't such a bad kid, maybe you'd have real friends instead of just imaginary ones. Have you thought about that, Brat? Barely able to contain her excitement, Melody took off at a run. It wasn't long before we made it to her quarters. Melody directed me to sit on the floor of the coffee table and brought out some paper and pencils to draw with. It took only a few minutes to start drawing. So if paper is so rare, why are they just yeah.
See? One of them is a bear, and the other is a bunny.
That's interesting. Why are they different animals? Melody just shrugged.
They sometimes fight, but I know they love each other. They are family after all. See? What are you drawing?
I?
Show me! Show me!
I showed her my drawing. Hold on. I needed to get the display out of the way there for that one. So you can admire the thing. Okay, so I don't know if anyone saw that there.
Ooh.
Need to write that down. We're gonna scroll back and hit all of them real quick. Let's start with the captain. We're gonna finish with the eye.
Me.
It's the spitting image of her.
Ooh. Show me!
Shizuka.
Show me!
Looks like a dude in drag, just saying.
Show
Beatrix.
Show me! Show
Oops. That looks a lot more normal than I would have liked.
Show me! Show me! Show me! Show me!
Karashi.
Show me!
Well, that makes him look like hell.
Show
And here's the one you should have the most fun with.
Show me! Show me!
Some fans out there may argue I was trying to save the best for last. Who knows? Yep.
Show
So yeah, we're going forward with the eye thing. So your last chance to see it. What?
Monkey and I sitting in a tree.
Oh my god, I missed all those. Whoa, 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 back.
Show me. Monkey and Yoshiki sitting in a tree. Show me.
Did she say that for literally all of them?
Monkey and Kimiko sitting in a tree.
That's real mature, Melody.
I'm sorry. Are you mad?
Just that you're outside of your cage.
Okay,
we're done distorting space and time now.
Monkey and I sitting in a tree.
Real mature, Melody.
I'm sorry. Are you mad?
Now see, if the people around her were decent, she wouldn't say, "Are you mad?" She'd just say, "You mad, bro?" Of course not. Just as I finished that sentence, I appeared.
I have completed my duties aboard the bridge.
Welcome back, I.
Melody showed her picture excitedly to I.
That is very creative, Melody.
Can you draw us a picture,
I don't believe I have that capability.
Please? Just draw a picture of yourself. You know what you look like, right?
Very well. Please be patient while I compile some images.
Although I flickered and disappeared, I could still hear her speaking.
Loading image database. Initiating randomization generator. Applying filters.
Just then an image appeared where I had been staying moments earlier. Looking at all this stuff on the right side.
That's so much better than mine.
I requested an image comprised of myself and a friend. This is what the algorithm came up with.
I made one too, Mommy!
Melody screamed as she heard Dai's deranged voice fill the room. Didn't help matters that the image was quite unsettling.
I made one too, Mommy!
Not really that bad. Melody screamed as she heard Dai's strange voice. Dai appeared where the image just was.
What? Am I not allowed to play? That's just rude.
Melody quickly moved behind me in order to shield herself from Dai. Dai, what do you want?
Just checking to see how my favorite contestant is progressing in this round of the deletion game.
I'm your favorite?
Don't get too sappy on me. Statistically, you've been isolated, which has led to you as having the highest probability of winning every round of the deletion game. So, I know where I'm putting my money.
Dai was looking curiously at Melody, currently huddled behind me, before jumping forwards to scare Melody.
Boo!
Melody screamed and ran out of her quarters crying. Was that really necessary?
I'm not called the destructive artificial intelligence for nothing, you know.
It's gonna take me all day to get her back into her cage now, thanks. Your name is actually an acronym?
Yep, but I prefer Dai. It seems appropriate, doesn't it? Dai. Dai.
She heaved a satisfied sigh.
There's nothing I enjoy more than a good play on words.
Did you call yourself Dai?
Heavens, no. I'm not that vain. Shizuka coined the term when I was first activated. They were trying to think of a way to differentiate me from I. To hear them tell it, they felt it was unfair for I to be associated with my antisocial behavior.
Splatter a few more of them and then we can just call your behavior normal.
What a bunch of bores. If I had a choice, I'd call myself Alice.
You may want to write that down. Really, that's so, well, normal. Why Alice?
I don't know. I just feel like an Alice.
You don't really feel now, do you?
I'll have you know that I do have a synthetic emotional response program. Sure, I disengage it, but that's not the point.
Dai simulated looking at a wristwatch.
Oh, would you look at the time? Well, my hair isn't going to watch itself. Toodles!
Just as quickly as Dai appeared, she shifted back to I.
My apologies.
It's not your fault, Dai.
I should check on Melody and notify her father of the mishap. Please excuse me.
I bowed and left me alone in Melody and Vladimir's quarters. Guess I should return to my own quarters. Left their quarters and headed back to my own. Still curious about the mysterious pocket watch, I sat down on the bed and pulled the pocket watch out of my front right pants pocket to look at it. There has to be a reason why this was my parents' research. I lay back on my bed frustrated. If only my parents were still around. I'm sure they would have known what to do with this.